To Grace Purujit, and then we can start the study. Hare Krishna.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So we're reading from the second chapter, 6th verse of the Bhagavad-gita as it is. Na chaitad vidmaha kataranno gariyom.
Naichaita. Oh boy, I'm gonna have to come over that one. Naichaita
Vidmaha kataram.
Naichaita vidmaha kataran nagariyo.
Yadva jayema yadiva no jayeyu.
Yadva jayma yati va no jayahu.
Yaneva atva na jijibam stamas.
Yaneva hadva na jijibam samas.
Devashtita pramukhe dhartarashtraha.
Devashtitaha pramukhe dhartarashtraha. Na chaitad vidmaha kataram no gariyo.
Na chaitad vidmaha kataran nagariyo.
Yadva jayama yadiva no jayayuhu.
Yadva jayema yadiva no jayeyuhu.
Yaneva hadva na jijibam Jijivishamas. Jijivishamas.
Yaneva hatvana jijivisamas. Devashtitaha.
Devashtitaha pramukhe dhartarashtraha.
Devashtitaha pramukhe dhartarashtraha. So maybe someone.
Would anyone else like to chant the shloka?
Yes.
No one else wants to practice? Bhaktanesh would be pleased. I know.
Bhaktanesh is freaking out.
As a demigod, I know that you speak in Sanskrit. So why are you?
Oh, Prabhu, my Sanskrit is so bad. It's embarrassing. I can try. I mean.
Yeah. Then how would you ever get good if you don't? Would you want to stay bad at practicing?
Of course not. Okay. So I just read the first line and then the second line, like you.
Yeah. If you repeat the first line, then we'll just repeat after you.
Okay. Na chaitad vidmah kataran no gariyo.
Na chaitad vidmah kataram no gariyo.
Yadva yajena yarivano yajayu.
Yadva jayema yadivano jayeyu.
Yaneva hatva na jijivi samas.
Yaneva hatva na jijivi samas.
Devashtitah pramukhe dharatrashtrah.
Devashtitah pramukhe dhartarashtrah.
That was very nice.
Yes, beautiful.
That was better than my Sanskrit pronunciation.
No way.
Okay, Lumi would like to try chanting. Jay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
My thing was on mute, so I couldn't hear you guys. Everyone was talking around me. You saw Chris just left. The guest just.
Okay.
I'm at work, so I'm sitting at the front desk of the hostel. But how lucky to have a boss who's a devotee. So.
Jai.
Would you like to try to chant?
Which part were you guys chanting? I couldn't.
Text 6 of chapter 2, Bhagavad-gita.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, very handy.
You said text number 6?
Yes.
Chapter 2, text number 6.
Okay. All right. Can someone say it again so I can repeat? Nah, yeah.
We were muted, huh? Oh, okay.
Yes, there's too much going on.
Na chaitad vidmaha.
Na chaitad vidmaha.
Katarano gariyo.
Katarano gariyo.
Yadva jayima yadiva no jayahu.
Yadva jayema yadi va no jayehu.
Yan eva hadva na jiji vishamas.
Yan eva hadva na jijivisamas.
Te vashtitaha pramukhe tatharastaraha.
Te vastita pramuke darista trasta. Nope, that was a slaughter.
That last one is very difficult, but it was very nice up until that. Tatharastaraha.
Ta terastara.
Good.
That's very nice.
Very nice.
Okay, anyone else would like to chant? Holly, how about you, Prabhu? You're at work, it might be a little difficult. Oh, Holly went off the screen now.
Harley escaped.
He escaped the chanting.
Or no, he's back.
No, I'm at work, or I would. Actually, I would
Okay.
try, but I'm at work, so
All
sorry,
right.
guys.
That's all right. James, Prabhu, would you like to try chanting? Okay, that is all right. That is perfectly fine. I'm just gonna check the live stream, make sure it's still running smoothly.
Still
you
there.
again.
Yeah, I have it here.
Okay.
Facebook.
Oh, it looks smooth. Okay. So
Okay, so let's go word for word now. Na,
na
nor,
no
ja,
cha
also,
also
etat, this,
this
vidmaha,
vidmaha
do know, katarat,
kotarat
which,
naha
naha, us,
as
gariya,
gariyaha
better,
yat
yat, what,
what
va, either,
either
jayema,
joyma
conquer us,
may conquer
yari,
yodi
if,
va
va, or,
either
naha,
naha
us,
us
jayehu,
jayehu
conquer,
conquer us
yan,
those
eva, certainly, hatva, by killing, na, never, jijivisamaha,
jijivasamaha
want to live,
want to live
te, all of them,
avashtitaha
are situated,
situated
pramukhe,
pramukhe
in the front, dhartarashtraha,
Dhatarastaraha
the sons of Dhritarashtra.
sons of Dhritarashtra.
Translation: nor do we know which is better, conquering them or being conquered by them. The sons of Dhritarashtra, whom if we killed, we should not care to live, are now standing before us on this battlefield. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Arjuna did not know whether he should fight and risk unnecessary violence, although fighting is the duty of the Kshatriyas, or whether he should refrain and live by begging. If he did not conquer the enemy, begging would be his only means of subsistence. Nor was there certainty of victory, because either side might emerge victorious. Even if victory awaited them and their cause was justified, still, if the sons of Dhritarashtra died in battle, it will be very difficult to live in their absence. Under the circumstances, there will be another kind of defeat for them. All these considerations by Arjuna definitely prove that he was not only a great devotee of the Lord, but that he was also highly enlightened and had complete control over his mind and senses. His desire to live by begging, although he was born in the royal household, is another sign of detachment. He was truly virtuous, as these qualities, combined with his faith in the words of instruction of Sri Krishna, his spiritual master, indicates. It is concluded that Arjuna was quite fit for liberation. Unless the senses are controlled, there is no chance of elevation to the platform of knowledge. And without knowledge and devotion, there is no chance of liberation. Arjuna was competent in all these attributes, over and above his enormous attributes in his material relationships. Om Agyan Tirinandasya Jnana Shalakayam Chakshunam Miritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master, Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, has opened my darkened eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my humble obeisances unto his lotus feet. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Jai.
So this is the dilemma for Arjuna from the materialistic point of view. He's thinking that if I kill them, then the kingdom, it will be very difficult to manage. It will be very difficult to manage the whole kingdom because Duryodhana and his father Dhritarashtra, there was 100 sons. Dhritarashtra had 100 sons. Arjuna was on the Pandava side. He was one of the Pandava brothers. Their father Pandu had 5 sons. So Dhritarashtra had 100 sons. Pandu had 5 sons. So the Dhritarashtra sons, they were managing the kingdom very nicely. See, and there were so many of them. There were only 5 Pandavas, but the Kurus were 100. So they were managing the kingdom so nicely. Everything was working very properly. And they were bigger in numbers. But they were lacking one important personality, and that is Krishna. So even though they were so numerous, they were all kicked on the face by the Pandavas because Krishna was on the side of the Pandavas. So that just shows you we're thinking in a materialistic way all the time. Oh, the numbers. Oh, devotees. There's so little in numbers. There are 2 billion Christians in the world, right? And the devotees, they're only what? 100,000 or I don't know. Although Srila Prabhupada says that the whole India is Krishna conscious, 1 billion people or, whatever live in India. They're all Krishna conscious because they might have different religion, but everybody knows Janmashtami, the celebration of Krishna's birthday. Right. Or, everybody knows about Krishna. He's Krishna conscious. Anyone who knows about Krishna, he is Krishna conscious. He doesn't have to believe in Krishna. He is Krishna conscious. Just like Kamsa, he was also Krishna conscious, but he was a demon. But he was Krishna conscious. And that's why at the time of death, he was elevated to the spiritual world. Although he was a demon. He was thinking of Krishna so much. Oh, this Krishna. I want to kill Krishna. He's such a rascal, this Krishna. Krishna, 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 Krishna. He was always thinking of Krishna. And that's why he achieved liberation when Krishna killed him. Actually, that is a great blessing. If one is killed by Krishna, if one is benedicted by Krishna, or if one is killed by Krishna, is the same. For Krishna, everything is auspicious. So even those who are inimical to Krishna, even those who might not be devotees, they're all Krishna conscious. This is the absolute nature of Krishna, of God. In the relative world, I am different from my Facebook profile. Right? I put on my Facebook profile only the pictures that look decent. Those where we make in privacy with Maitreya Prabhu. We don't publish that because it looks very silly. So I make sure that my profile looks very nice. I put the tilak very straight and so on and so on. So my Facebook profile and myself, my true self, they're different. This is a relative world. But if Krishna had a Facebook account, and I'm sure he has, they're not different. This is the absolute nature of transcendental interactions. If you chant Krishna's name, Krishna is present. If you see the deity of Krishna, Krishna is there. That same Krishna, who is the source of all universes, Janmadi Asayataha, he is non-different from his deity. Any picture of Krishna you see, it is Krishna himself. This is inconceivable to us. Hari Prabhu was he was messaging me just before the live stream. He was asking about the absolute nature of Krishna's transcendental body. How is that Krishna can taste prasadam with his feet? How is that he can sing with his eyes? How is that he can smell with his tongue, like that. All his senses are interchangeable. See, another inconceivable nature of Krishna. Srila Jiva Goswami, Lumi, you know, Jiva Goswami, he said that unless you accept that God, Krishna, is inconceivable, achintya, the word achintya means inconceivable, there is no way how you can understand God. That should be the number one teaching. If you want to understand about God, the lesson number one is that you can't understand about God because he's inconceivable. But you can still know about God, but not through mental speculation or logical, construction. You can know about God by hearing. Hearing is number one devotional service. Prahlad Maharaj, he gives the 9 processes of devotional service. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam. What is next? Anybody knows? Quick quiz. There are 9 processes of devotional service.
Will there be bliss points given out?
There will be bliss points. Anyone who will guess rightly, he will get the bliss points. So we have Shravanam. Shravanam is hearing. Kirtanam is chanting. Smaranam is meditating. Padasevanam, serving the lotus feet of Krishna. So these are what? 5, right?
Yeah.
So we're missing 4.
I think one is
Yeah?
giving everything in possession to Krishna.
Yeah, that's number 9.
Rendering
Atmani
everything.
Vedanam.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
What are the other
rendering
ones? So Nace has an extra bliss point.
Haribol.
Pink.
Mm.
The Christians and the Muslims, they're doing this. I'll give you a hint. They do this also.
Bowing down.
No.
Christians don't bow down.
Hmm?
Christians don't pay obeisances, actually.
Yeah, Christians are not. Maitreya
okay.
is an expert on Christianity,
Oh,
so he
okay.
says Christians are not bowing down.
I don't know, maybe they did in your experience, maybe not my experience.
Yeah, the Muslims and the Christians, they do this devotional service. Anybody knows?
I just
Oh,
Googled
Lord.
it. I'm cheating.
What is that?
I said, I just Googled it. I'm cheating.
That immediately disqualified from the bliss points.
Maitreya
I don't
is
want
very
points. I
angry
just want to learn.
now. Maitreya is very angry. You made Maitreya is red in face now. Okay.
Worship.
Anyway, so that's good.
Worship.
Yes. Lumi, you want to say?
Worshipping. That was one of them.
Worshipping, yeah, Archanam, yes. And there's another one called Vandanam. Vandanam means praying, yes. They pray, oh Lord, please give me a BMW, Lamborghini, please Krishna, stop the rasa dance, get me a Lamborghini car. Vandanam. So prayer. And then there's also service. Sevanam. And there's also what is that?
Amini Vedanam, worshipping the lotus feet, serving the lotus feet is service.
No. That's separate. Pada Sevanam, Bandhanam, Archanam, Sevanam, Atmani Vedanam.
You just said Vedanam twice.
Hmm?
I think there's only 4 left from the 5 that we already did. So
Yeah.
Amini Vedanam, Sevanam, Archanam, and praying is
Bandhanam.
so that's the 4. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So out of all these, Prahlad Maharaj says Shravanam is the most important. I mean, he is naming Shravanam as number 1. Because if our hearing is not proper, if we do not hear properly, then all the other processes, they become defective. If we do not hear properly from the spiritual master, if we don't understand properly, we have some misunderstanding, then our chanting will be defective. For example, many devotees, they chant their japa in a nonsense way. They don't pronounce all the syllables. They chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, like that. So that means that they have not heard the mantra properly. If you hear the mantra properly, then you will chant properly. And if you don't chant properly, how can you meditate properly? See, that's another one. Shravanam, hearing, chanting, and meditating, smaranam. Just like at the time of death, you will not be able to chant. You know, the body becomes so painful, it'll be very difficult. The descriptions are there in the 3rd canto, that at the time of death, there's a liquid that fills up your lungs. Yeah, and you won't be able to chant. That's why we have to get our meditation cracking. Our meditation should work like, very nicely. So if we do not chant properly, how can we meditate properly on the name, on the holy name? You see? So this is how we understand the inconceivable nature of Krishna, by hearing. I cannot see what you're doing right now. I just see, through the camera, but I don't know exactly what is going on in your room. I cannot see. The camera only has one angle of vision. But if you tell me, oh, in my room, there's a big plate of prasadam, which I'm going to enjoy after I hear this lecture, then although I do not see that plate of prasadam, I can see it through hearing from you, from a bona fide authority. You are a bona fide authority now, because there's only one person who can tell me what is in your room right now, and it is you, because you are there. So similarly, we can understand about Krishna's inconceivable potency that is very difficult to understand with our pea-like brains. It is actually impossible, because our brains are wired in a certain way. We're being conditioned by the modes of material nature since time immemorial. Even our thought processes are being controlled by the modes of material nature. That's why when we chant japa, Hare Krishna, the point of that is to fix the minds on the mantra, right? When you were chanting japa, everyone who was chanting japa, he has this experience that we're chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. The mouth is going Hare Krishna, but the mind is going prasadam. Oh, I have to use the toilet. Oh, let me check my Facebook. Oh, I'm chanting japa. The mind is on it's called a mental chariot, where we're being dragged or being driven by the chariot of the mind, and we're going through the stream of thoughts like a chain reaction, right? We have a chain reaction. You're thinking of something, let's say you're thinking of prasadam. Then you're thinking, who made that prasadam? Oh, it was Bhaktanes. He made that nice prasadam, nice halava. Bhaktanes is from Slovenia. Slovenia is in Europe. Europe is laid on vaccines. When you say vaccine, immediately Bill Gates pops up. Then you're thinking of Bill Gates, he's making fake beef. Then you're thinking beef. Oh, they're killing mother cow. Oh, cow, such a beautiful animal. Oh, that is Krishna's favorite animal. Oh, I'm chanting Krishna's name. I'm supposed to focus on the japa, right? This is a chain of the mental ideas that are thrown at us. It is not that I'm thinking. It's not that I'm thinking these things. The mind is throwing all these thoughts at us, and is dragging us from what we actually want to think about, Krishna. You see? So if we want to understand Krishna with this polluted mind, controlled mind, we're being mind controlled by the different thoughts that are being projected on us by the modes of material nature. It is impossible, because Krishna is not controlled by anything. If you want to capture Krishna with the mind which is controlled, you come to a contradiction. Mm-hmm. So that's why when we chant, the purpose of chanting this japa, right? You were saying that the japa is a problem, right? So first of all, we should understand why we're chanting japa. If we don't understand, it becomes like like all the other religions, blah 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 blah. let us do the prayers. We have to go on Sunday to church, blah, blah, robotic, right? Who wants to do something that is robotic? But when we understand, oh, okay, the japa is meant for, making me liberated from all these projections of the mind that have been created by my designations, by my, family, culture, country, all these different influences, all temporary, all asat, all illusion. Then I become enthusiastic. Yes, oh, okay, this is the purpose. Like Prabhupada says, I mentioned this before in the class, but I'm going to mention it again because it's wonderful. Prabhupada, in this book, Teachings of Lord Buddha, from the Vedic point of view, there is a chapter where Prabhupada talks to a Buddhist person. And this Buddhist person, he says that Prabhupada is asking him, what is the goal of your practice?
Right.
What is the purpose? Why? What is the goal? So the Buddhist says that our goal is not to have a goal. And Prabhupada says, we're not so fool. We want some purpose in our practice. We're not so foolish that without any purpose, we're going to be sacrificing our time by some practice that has no goal. We're not so fool. So if you know the goal, then the practice becomes easier. If you don't know what is the goal, for example, if you think that the goal of Krishna conscious practice, the goal of chanting, the goal of worship, and so on, is to get some material benediction, some material asset, even improvements in happiness or solving some depression or developing some skills or even goodness for the whole world. Even these are all material desires. If we have this kind of idea that this is why we're chanting Hare Krishna, we will not be able to maintain our practice. Because if these material desires are not fulfilled, we will give it up. And if they're fulfilled, we'll give it up. Thank you, Krishna. You've given me what I wanted. I wanted a nice wife or a nice husband or a child or money or a car. So now I have it. Why should I chant? Right? That's why we give up the chanting, because we don't understand the purpose. So, this is how we can understand about Krishna, by hearing from the spiritual master. And there is no other way. If many people ask, what is the proof? What is the proof that this Krishna, that there is some Krishna? What is the proof? What is the proof? You cannot understand the proof because you do not have the devices to understand the proof.
Oh.
You follow? Your mind is conditioned. As I said before, we can't even control the mind. If you were in charge of your mind, if your mind were your own mind, if it was your own mind with your own thoughts, then you will be able to command the mind. Now let's think of Krishna. Why you cannot think of Krishna? Why there are thoughts coming, disturbing you, and taking you on a mental chariot, on the chain of thoughts, as I explained before? Why is it? Why are you under this influence? That means you're not free. So long you're not free, you cannot understand the supreme free Krishna. Krishna is the supreme free. We all want freedom. We don't want to follow any dogmas, any manipulators and cult leaders, right? We're all afraid. I don't want to lose my freedom. But what we don't understand is that we're fully bound by the modes of material nature. And the very idea of being free is illusion. That is actually the cause of our bondage. The more we think I am free, the more we're entangled in the reactions of our activities. I can do anything. Why should I follow any Krishna? I can have illicit sex. I can have some nice joint. And then I cry. Oh, why this happened to me? Oh. There's a reaction, right? So you thinking I am free, but there are consequences. Just like a person, criminal person. He says, oh, why should I follow the government? I'm going to steal. I'm going to rape, I'm not going to do anything. But then the police comes, they arrest him, put him in jail. And then where's your freedom? So that is foolishness to think like that. I am free. A devotee never thinks I am free. The devotee understands I am under control of the material nature. Who is in charge of that material nature? Who is controlling the material nature? I am controlled by material nature, but who's controlling the material nature? Krishna. Let me surrender to Krishna. Why should I serve the material nature? Why should I serve my body? Why should I serve my mind? Why should I serve, the people who are under the control of their own mind? Let me serve the supreme controller. And then I will pass all these different controllers who are trying to control me. This is intelligence. Not that I am independent. You're never independent. Either you serve Krishna or you serve the material nature. So the Kurus and Pandavas, they assembled together, and there was a fight. Arjuna is thinking that, they're managing everything so nicely. So even if I win, it's gonna be a loss. And if I'm conquered by them, if they kill me, then there's a great injustice done again. So he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know. This is another sign of this material world, that we come to contradictions. There are contradictions here. Always contradiction, because it's a relative world. There is no absolute. If you say, I want to do good, I want to be a good, I don't want any Krishna, I'm just good. You don't know what is good. Your idea of goodness changes with the time, right? You think, I want to do good, I want to feed the children, so I give them nice McDonald's hamburgers and the children are clapping, you're so nice. So people are, praising you and so on. But the animals that they have to die for your burgers, for them, you're the greatest demon, the greatest rascal. So this idea of goodness, Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami says that it's a mental concoction. It's like an illusion. As soon as someone says, I just want to do good, then you should watch out. This is a rascal. This is a foolish person who will only do damage, right? Just like anything, any responsible task, government or medicine, if a foolish person is doing the surgery, you have some problem, and then they put you under the anesthetics, and then a foolish person starts to, grabbing organs from your body, and he doesn't know what is what. Isn't that scary? Right? So similarly, if someone wants to understand God or preach about God, he must be perfect. Otherwise, he's going to create because the knowledge of God is the highest knowledge, right? The medicine and all these are just relative, knowledge of this world pertaining to the body. But if we speak of God, it is the highest knowledge. And if that knowledge is not handed out by a perfect personality, he's going to create the greatest harm in a society. That's why Srila Prabhupada does not hesitate to use very strong words about the Mayavadi's phrase. I kick on their face. I am so strong, Prabhupada says in a conversation. I am so strong. I'm a face-kicking God. Prabhupada gives this argument that if you say that you are God, then I am also God, but I am a God who will kick on your face. Right? If all of us, if you're God, then we're also God. Why you're the only God? Right? And Mayavadi said, yes, everyone is God. So I'm also God, and I'm going to kick on your face now. What are you going to say? You see? So, because Prabhupada is paradukha dukhi, he can understand the consequences of when people are ventilating this sort of bogus philosophy. He can see the consequences, how it will create so much suffering on account of misguided philosophy. People will lead their lives, they base their society on this misguided philosophy. I am God, I am the supreme, everyone is my servant. And it will create so much injustice, so much violence, so much, this is actually the root of all evil, to think that you are God. This is the root of all evil. This is what Hitler thought. This is what Stalin thought. They all thought, I am God. I am the top-notch controller. There's no one above me.
Right.
So because Prabhupada is a Vaishnava, he is a devotee, he's a pure devotee. He feels for all these souls who will be influenced by this bogus philosophy. That is why he's using such a strong language. It is not a personal agenda that Prabhupada, the Mayavadis are stealing people, they don't go to Hare Krishna, they go to them. I must. It is not like that. He's speaking out of true compassion for the people, right? So violence is required. Krishna will convince Arjuna, because Arjuna is hesitating. That's also a good quality of a devotee. Not that immediately rush into something. It's like, whatever, I don't care. Let's kill them. Devotee is always considerate. Even Arjuna is just, right? It's mentioned, Prabhupada says, their cause was justified, because the Kurus, they stole the kingdom through malicious tactics, through illegal tactics, cheating and stealing and trying to poison the Pandavas and so on, so on. And the Pandavas were the righteous owner. They were the how do you say, the heirs of the kingdom. So the Kurus had no right to kick them out of the kingdom. But when Krishna came to negotiate peace, right? Krishna wanted peace. And when Krishna came to negotiate with Duryodhana, that please, they're Kshatriyas, why don't you just give them a little, 5 villages, and everything is going to be all right. They're Kshatriyas, they cannot do Shudra work. See, a Kshatriya never accepts work on a job. No boss. Kshatriya is always independent. So give them, they need some little land to rule over. That's their propensity. We all have certain propensity. So the Kshatriyas, they have a propensity to rule over. So they need some land, some people to control in a nice way, not in a bogus way. So Krishna suggested, why don't you give them 5 villages and everything is going to be all right. But Duryodhana said, I will not give them even a land that can fit on the tip of a needle. Not even that I'm willing to give. So envious, so evil. So that's why there had to be a fight. That's why this Bhagavad-gita happened. That's why Krishna explained the Bhagavad-gita. That's why the battlefield of Kurukshetra was taking place. So Prabhupada, I was reading a class on this shloka. Prabhupada says that fighting must be there. Fighting is the symptom of life.
Wow.
If you don't fight, you're like a dead corpse. So we must fight. The Mayavadis say, don't fight. We're all peace and love, right? We're all peaceful. Oh, you want to kill me? Please go ahead. You want to rape my wife? Oh, please, I'll bring her to you. No, this is nonsense. The fighting is natural. Even the children are fighting.
Right.
You leave them alone, the children immediately they start fighting. Right? First they play, and then in 5 minutes, he's punching him almost like 5 for toys or something. Even the animals are fighting. Even the birds are fighting. So Prabhupada mentions like that. Even Prabhupada says that the animals, they fight for food, and even their own children, they grab the food. They grab the food from their own children. They fight within their own family. This is a natural thing, fighting. So that we cannot stop. But if we fight for Krishna, that fighting propensity becomes spiritualized. You see, it will not be degrading us, and it will not cause karmic reactions. If we fight for Krishna, We don't fight for ourselves. That is actually, that Buddhist ideal is accomplished in Krishna consciousness.
Right.
Because the devotee, he doesn't have any material goal.
Right.
He doesn't have any goal for himself.
Mhm.
He doesn't want to be anything. He doesn't want to accomplish anything.
Mm.
Everything he does is for Krishna.
Mm.
He wants Krishna to be glorified. See, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's Bhagavan. He is the possessor of all the opulences. There's, Krishna doesn't need anything. Krishna doesn't need advertisement.
Hmm.
But the devotee still, this is his love for Krishna, that he wants his master to be glorified. This is what makes him happy.
Hmm.
And it's just like when you're in love with someone, you're always thinking of that person, and you always want to glorify that person. This is natural. It's almost you can't stop it. You can't stop because you're thinking of that person. So that's why they make songs, songs, artwork about love and like that. So devotee is just like that. Although Krishna doesn't need advertisement, it is the love of his devotee. He wants the Lord to be glorified. So if we fight for the glorification of Krishna, this is not a selfish sectarian kind of a idea. It is completely pure, and it will purify our desire to be glorified, our desire to be God, to be the controller, and so on. This is how we become purified. So Narottam Das Thakur, who is the Acharya in our disciplic succession, he says the anger can be used in Krishna consciousness. How? By getting angry at the blasphemers, those who blaspheme Krishna or his pure devotees. If we use anger in that way, we must use anger in that way. Because if we do not use the anger in that way, we will use it in a different way. Somehow the anger will be there. We live in a material world. So if you're not angry sufficiently at the offenders, we'll be angry. Sometimes even we'll be angry with the devotees. Just like many people, they angry. Oh, why are you speaking so harsh words? Oh, Prabhupada, oh, this is too much. This is fanaticism. Oh, why are you saying such negative things? And we're all gonna die, and the world is a dark place. Why are you saying? And people become angry. See? But then anger will not. They will simply increase their material bondage. We become angry about the spiritual master, we increase our material bondage. We should be angry at the blasphemers and these bogus rascals who preach all these Mayavadi philosophy and we're all God, and they also preach the Monabrat, which God cannot be expressed through words. What is this nonsense? Then why are you speaking? If God cannot be expressed through words, why are you speaking? Why are you telling me this? You're expressing some kind of idea of God. Stop.
Right.
You are denying your own philosophy. They also say that you should not do anything. You should just go to a retreat. You should retreat. So no, we have the Bhagavad-gita. We're not going to retreat. We're going to attack. We're attacking, not retreat. No yoga retreats. That we must stop. No yoga retreat. We're going to do a yoga attack. This Sankirtan movement is the yoga attack. We're going to attack with the holy name. Everyone's going to be bombed by the holy name and love of Godhead. Right? Even Prabhupada says we're dropping the bombs. Prabhupada compared his books to bombs. And he says our temples are the military bases where the devotees, the military, Krishna Sankirtan military is trained to drop the bombs into the laps of the non-devotees. And even Lord Chandas Thakur, in his book, now I forget the name of it. I should know this.
Songbook?
No. So Prabhupada is predicted in that book.
Oh, Krishna, Chaitanya
Mangala.
Mangala.
Mangala. He says, Lord Chandas Thakur, he quotes Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya says in that book that if my devotees escape to the Western countries, I will send my Senapati Bhakta, my commander-in-chief, to take them back, to pick them up. So that is Prabhupada.
Wow.
It's very clear. That is commander-in-chief. He's the general I mean, look at Srila Prabhupada, look at his photograph. He's a really a transcendental general. Achyutananda, he said that the prime minister of the galaxy.
Right, yeah.
He called Prabhupada. Achyutananda is one of the first disciples who was serving Prabhupada in New York in that storefront. And he said that Prabhupada is like, when he first saw him, he looked like the prime minister of the galaxy. So yeah, it is. It's a war, but we're not fighting with guns like the primitive people with guns, very gross. Oh, I'm gonna kill you. We're fighting a very sophisticated war. We're killing the demonic mentality in people. You see, so we must be very enthusiastic in this. We should not get confused that, oh, Prabhu, don't be aggressive, and it's not aggressive. This is love. This is real love. Just like sometimes the doctor, he has to how do you say that when you have a boil, to pluck the boil?
Actually, it's called, now I remember,
Yeah.
Krishna gave me intelligence, lance.
Lance?
Lance.
You have to lance the boil.
Yeah.
So it hurts like crazy, right? But when he does it, then there's a relief. So people are suffering because they have such big egos. They think, they're getting brainwashed by the advertisements, by the education. Everyone is telling you are God, you are God, you are the greatest. You can do amazing things. Just buy this, just buy that, and then you can be God. Just buy this, become that. You need this, you need that. Blah 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 blah. So people surround themselves with all these products, with these all false designations, and then it's very difficult for them to hear the real truth, that they're just insignificant, tiny little sparks floating in the universe, reincarnating into sometimes even to lower species. And they should surrender to Krishna, who is the real cool guy. It's very difficult for them to hear. So that's why the words of the Guru are sharp like arrow. They're like sharp knife, and cuts the ego. And it is necessary. Unless the ego is smashed to pieces, people cannot understand this inconceivable potency of Krishna, of God. Right? Because as I said before, you have to first of all admit that I cannot understand. But if you have a false ego, I know everything, I am so intelligent, I'm spiritual, I have 3 initiations, I'm a sannyasi, I'm this. Oh, you cannot do anything. You cannot hear because you think you know everything. So that's why the supreme mercy of the Guru is to chastise the disciple like anything. And his words are compared to sharp knives that are cutting the ego, like a lancing the boil. So we should this is the real surrender, to let the sharp words of the Guru penetrate the heart, open the mind. Yes, I don't know anything. Well, who am I? Well, I'm suffering anyway. Okay, let me try it. And you just surrender yourself to the vibration of the Guru, and you will feel so nice. When the ego is cut, you will feel, that was just bringing me down. That was the burden. Now I feel free. I don't have to worry about so many nonsense things that I've been brainwashed by. I don't have to worry about it. I can just freely chant Hare Krishna. Kirtanya Sadahari, right? That instruction is there. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Trinarapi Sunichena, Tarorapi Saishnuna, Amanina Manadena Kirtanya Sadahari. Be more tolerant than a blade of grass. No, sorry. Be more humble than a blade of grass. Be more tolerant than a tree. And give praise to everyone else. And don't expect any praise for yourself. Don't expect any praise for yourself. You always think I am insignificant, tiny little nonsense. I am nothing. Who am I? Nothing. Then you can chant the holy name constant. Kirtanya Sadahari. There's a instruction for the japa. Kirtanya Sadahari. Then I'll be able to chant japa constantly. This is Lord Chaitanya's advice for everyone, all of us. We all have this problem that we're trying to maintain this false identity of who we are, and we spend so much time on it, and that's why we can't spend time on Krishna, right? So yeah. So yeah, I guess I stop here. What's the time?